Good morning. Harimonji, am I audible to you? Am I audible? Kindly reply. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is the screen visible to all of you?
Not now, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Okay. So if you, first of all, apologies for not taking your classes for last few days. I'm busy in some assignment. And for upcoming 4 days, I will take 2 classes. And today I have also scheduled a class at 3 p.m. also. Please join that class also. Okay. So during the lecture, if you feel any problem, you just write in the chat box. Okay. So if there is a connection issue or you are
Yes, sir.
not feeling that I am audible, you can just write it to me. Okay. So today we'll talk about a general process of pattern classification. So what is there? What are the procedures for it? Up till now, I have told you about the decision boundaries, and I have given you some example for it. So we'll talk. We have already talked about different type of examples where the pattern recognition is useful, and we also talk about the decision boundaries, how the different kind of decision boundaries are available. In the last round, we'll talk about that. And today we'll talk about a complete process of designing the pattern recognition task. So to design a complete pattern recognition system, here is a diagram that can, from which you can visualize it properly. So for any pattern recognition system, what we need our input. From the input, sensing and segmentation is done. After sensing and segmentation, we are able to extract the features. The feature extraction process is there. From the feature extraction, the classification is being performed, and then we do the post-processing. In the post-processing step, after post-processing, we finally take the decision. If all the thing is appropriate in the process. If any of the thing is not appropriate, you feel, obviously there is a cost function. ठीक है, if you feel less cost involved, losses are high, the risk is not able to minimize, then we'll go back in any of the stage and we'll redo the same task. And after redoing the same task, we'll again select a classifier. We adjust the missing features if it is there, adjustment of the context if it is not there, because whenever you are extracting the features, it depends upon your knowledge how you are extracting features, because there is no universal formula is there from where you can extract the features. Okay, so there is no universal formula. It depends upon your knowledge and the problem domain. Okay, so how you are extracting the features. Okay, so we'll talk about risk function, cost functions, and all these things. Suppose you feel that the objective is not fulfilled, okay, and the error terms are very high, then the thing is that either the classifier is not properly designed, or maybe the selection of feature vector is not appropriate. Okay, so in that case, what happened, we backtrack the same process, and it any of the steps, if you feel there need a correction, you'll perform that correction and you again go in the forward direction. Okay, so complete PR system is always depend upon input, then sensing segmentation, extraction of features. After then we perform the classifier, and after classifier we'll do post processing, and then it's able to take the decision. The decision is basically output. There is a target output. If you'll get the categorization based upon your target output, then the system is okay. Otherwise, you backtrack and rectify the system. Okay. So here is the problem formulation. For any problem formulation, what we'll do, we'll input the object, we'll perform the measurement and pre-processing. Pre-processing is usually required when your data is incomplete. Okay, either you have missing values or incomplete values, or the values is not available, then we require the pre-processing of the data. And what is the measurement? Measurement is basically how you are measuring the features. Actually, it depends upon your problem domain. Like if you are working in a image recognition system or something like that, what you will do, you will take the column sum, you will take the row sum, you will take the image intensity, pressures, and all these things. Similar with the maps analysis. But when you are working with some other domain, like you are working with time series, then the measurement is different. Then the measurement is time interval, how the particular amount is being recorded, because the time series data is always recorded with the help of time. So times interval is an important feature. So basically measurement and pre-processing is depend upon your problem. Okay. And these measurement and pre-processing is only available with the training data. Whatever you do, the available training data is with you, and you perform some measurement and you identify the features. After doing the measurement, the features are there. Okay, because you have some values that is in some numerical value or the categorical data. Based upon those values, you identify features. And what is the features? Features may be the combinations of two columns, maybe the combinations of two values. It depends how you are combining these two. Okay, combining the available raw data, and you are generating some features. Okay, so after generating the features, we'll do the classification based upon certain features. And after this classification, we have the class label. Class label is nothing, it's just your output labels. Okay, so you have the output labels. What is classification doing? Classification is providing a mapping between your input and output. Okay, so we have the final class label. So if you are working with any domain, you need to follow these steps. Like you do the input, perform the pre-processing and measurement, define your features, and after features, you will select a classification. Classification is basically designing a classifier. You first design a classifier and perform the classification, and these classification now finally map into the class labels. Here are some examples given. So basic ingredients are measurement space. As I told, measurement space for any image application, maybe the image intensity or pressure. For the features can be corner, spectral energy, etc. The classifier should be soft and hard. It means the deadlines are soft or hard. Matlab you are, when I told you the example of salmon and sea bass, then I have shown you three kind of classifiers. One is the straight line, one is a curve diagram, and one is a n degree polynomial curve. So it depends which decision boundary you are choosing. It is soft or hard, whether some of the elements are allowed to go to misclassify or not. So it depends. If the misclassification is not allowed, then it is hard deadlines. And if the misclassification is tolerable, then we call it a soft deadline. Then choosing the decision boundary, how decision boundary you are choosing, it's linearly separable or the polynomial curve separable like this. Then selection of the training sample, how much data you are selecting as a training sample. What we mean by training sample? Training sample is basically some input and some target output. Okay, so this is your training sample, a combination of input. Based upon these inputs, you are getting this output. This is your complete training sample. Okay, and the probability of error. So how much error is tolerable for this particular system. So the first thing is design cycle. In design cycle, we'll do the feature selection and extraction. Feature selection and extraction depends upon good discriminative features. Good discriminative features means one feature should be different from other. How separable they are. Okay, so if they are totally separable to each other, we are saying these are the good features, because the good features results in good classification. If you are choosing an overlapping features, the classification will not be appropriate. So for that purpose, what you need to do, you need to select classifications. You need to select the features that should be separable to each other. And then we have the modeling and learning. Modeling and learning is basically designing of the classifier. Then dimension reduction and model complexity. Dimension reduction is if you choosing a feature vector of nth order, then we can reduce into minimum direction. For that purpose, we need principal component analysis and many other features will perform the dimension reductions. So suppose you have 10 order features, you have 10 different features that combine into a single feature vector, then you can reduce that dimension. Okay, so we are taking only those who are performing a good results. So this is a kind of dimension reduction. Then decision and risk, all the decisions and risks. This is your post after classification. You have to recognize what are the decision and what are the risks. Then we perform the error analysis and validation. Analysis and validation is simply means which you have to select some error measures for that, and you have the error matrix. By using the error matrix, a component of error will be calculated, and you will, based upon the error analysis and validation, you can say whether your classifier is good or bad. Then we have the performance bound and capacity. Performance bound and capacity means that we have the boundaries that should be rigid ones or that should be the soft ones. It depends upon how bound you are choosing, what is the capacity for that. And algorithms are nothing but it's a different kind of classifier, because for any application you cannot say this one is a good classifier, this one is a bad classifier. There may be a number of classifiers, but we will choose only those ones which results in an optimal solution or maybe in the correct solution. So this is the start of the process. First of all, we collect the data. After collecting the data, we choose features. After features, we choose models. And this is a red arrows is there. This is a prior knowledge. Prior knowledge means if you have the similar kind of application from that, you can find out which are the best features, which are the best model. And after selection of the model, we'll train the classifier. Train the classifier is done with the help of training set. And after training set, when you have the trained classifier, we apply that classifier on the test data to evaluate the classifier. And when you evaluate the classifier, will come to know whether the targeted output will meet with your actual output or not. And finally, the end of the process. So the first step is your data collection step. How do we know when we have collected an adequately large and representative set of example for training and testing of the system? So this is a data collection step. This is a very first question. Will tell you there is no universal answer for that. How much data should be required and how large data should be taken. It should be a sufficient size of data that is needed to train your classifier. Okay. Because if the data is less, the classifier is not properly trained. And if you are taking more data to design a classifier, if you're taking more data to design a classifier, then what happened? Then your classifier will be overfit. Okay. So you need to select. So you have a complete data set. We'll partition the data into the training and test set, and that should be an appropriate amount for training the classifier. So less data is also not suitable and more data is also not suitable to design the classifier, because in both the cases, we are not getting the appropriate classifier. Then the feature choice, it depends upon the characteristics of the problem domain that I have already told. The features is always depends upon the characteristics. So what data you are having with you, you can select the features upon those. So if you have a matrix data, you can take the sum of rows, sum of columns like this. And if you have any other data, so you have to select the features based upon that data. It's simple to extract invariable and irrelevant transformation and insensitive to noise. So for the selection of this, you have to perform all these things also. Just a minute. Just a 2-minute break. So this is the selection of your feature choice. Then the feature choice, we select the model. Model is basically designing the classifier. Okay. So selection of classifier is always depends upon your input features, how well you design the features. Then the selection of classifier is done. Then after selecting the classifier, we perform the training, and training is done with the help of training set. Okay. So training set, if we talk about the training set is always a combination of input and output. If you are working with supervised data, so there is, in the training set, there is a combination of input as well as the output. So based upon their target output and input, we'll train the classifier. And finally, we evaluate the performance. So here we evaluate by using the error rate and switch from one set of features and model to another one. So as I told, so there are so many possible classifiers. So you apply the classifier on the desired feature vector, whatever you have selected, and then you evaluate the error. So where you get the minimum error, you choose that classifier only. The next one is the computational complexity. Computational complexity is a trade-off between the ease and the performance. When I told you that Salmon and Seabass example, then I told you that we have to always choose a trade-off between that. Trade-off between that, because if we choose the nth degree polynomial model, which is fit for all the training set, then what happens? There is always overfitting for the training data, and that is not suitable for the test data. So we have to always choose that model that should be is, and it will give a better performance. Okay, that may not be the correct model, but it will give you a better performance. So we'll select those ones. So design of pattern recognition system. So we'll talk about designs here. Designing is basically depend upon features. We have to measure the relevant quantities, because in the data set we have so many columns, but all the columns is not relevant for the classification purpose. So we have to select only the relevant one. Then there are some techniques are available to extract more relevant quantities from the initial measurement. For example, PCA is a principal component analysis. It's also used for dimension reduction. As I told, if you have so many columns and you have to select between these two, you can use these type of techniques for the dimensional reduction, and you will select the appropriate features only. After feature selection, each pattern is a vector. So after you are selecting features, then each pattern is a feature vector. The classifier is a function to map such vectors into the class label. So classifier is a function. So it's just a function, just as I told you, it will provide a mapping between input and output. So in pattern recognition, it will provide a mapping between vectors into the class labels. So vectors are nothing, it's a feature vectors, and class labels is your output labels. Many general techniques of classifier designs are available, and we need to test and validate the final system. So here are some notations. These are the notations for basic notations to design any feature recognition, design any pattern recognition problem. So first of all, you have feature space. So feature space is always denoted by X, where X is the set of all possible feature vectors. Then we have a classifier. Okay, so classifier is a decision rule or the function. You can look here, H colon X tends to 1 to M. Okay, so H is here is a classifier function. What it representing? It is applying, it is based upon X, that is the feature vector X, where the elements are present, and that elements are from 1 to M. Okay, so often X equals to Rn. Rn is real-time values, any real-time values, a combination, and it's convenient to make M is equals to 2. When you are taking M is equals to 2, then the labels are 0, 1 or the minus 1, 1. Because M equals to 2 means you are working with two class problem. So the output labels are always 0, 1, either 0, 1 or minus 1 or 1. So it depends upon which convention you are choosing. Then any binary valued function on X is a classifier. So if you take any binary value, because if you are working on two class problem, then any binary valued function on X is a classifier, and that should result in either of these two, either 0, 1 or minus 1 or 1. So we have to take following questions in account while designing a classifier. First is what H to choose. Which classifier function you need to choose. You want correct one or you want optimal classifier. The correct one means you need, this is basically we talk about you need hard deadlines or the soft deadlines while classifying. Okay, and how the design of the classifier, that you want to take linear combination classifier or the polynomial classifier or hyperbolic classifier. So all type of classifier is possible. And then finally, how to judge the performance. Judge the performance means what error matrix need to be selected, and how to provide the performance guarantee, like at which extent your test data is successfully available and successfully categorized by the trained classifier. Okay, so first of all, you have always in any problem you have feature space. Based upon the feature space, we are driving a function, and that function is a classifier function which maps your input data into your class labels. So what is the two class classifier is basically where M is greater than 2 is the two class. Actually this is a general formula. If you develop any algorithm for two class problem, then you can generalize it for the rest of them. Okay, one versus rest can be applied. Okay, so most of the time we generate a two class problem, and then the simple alternative is that we can generalize it for many class problem. There are other possibilities, or also we can take tree structured classifier. This is also possible. So is there any problem up till now? Otherwise we'll continue with the example.
No, ma'am, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a general idea about how the pattern recognition application is designed. And then we'll talk about one of the example. So here is an example. The problem is we have to spot for the right candidate. If the problem is there, we have to judge for a candidate based upon their academic records. Okay. So there are two features based upon which the decision need to be taken. The first feature is X1, the marks based upon academic record, and the X2 feature, the marks in the interview. So X1 and X2 is two features. Okay. So now the thing is you need to decide a classifier. As I told, there can be many possible classifiers. The first classifier is, look at this, AX1 plus BX2 greater than C is equal to good. Okay. So like if you are taking the combination of X1, X2, you are taking a linear combination with the parameters A and B, and you are deciding whether the value is greater than the threshold value C, then we call it a good classifier. Okay. So another classifier is, this is a linear, you can say it's a linear line equations. It's a linear classifier. Then another classifier may be X1 into X2 should be greater than C. Here you are taking the multiplication of X1 and X2. This is kind of parabolic classifier where you are taking the multiplications of the feature vectors. So there may be an other possible combination X1 plus A multiplied by X2 plus B greater than C. So there is always a specific form of the classifier. We cannot say which classifier is good one, whether the first one, second one, or the third one. But how we'll decide which one is good? By selecting the appropriate value of A, B, and C. Okay. So when you are selecting the appropriate value of A, B, C parameters, then based upon that you will get a results. If any of the classifier results into the appropriate class level, we can say that this classifier is appropriate for this solution. But we have so many variability of the data. Okay. So in the pattern recognition, there is always a possibility that one person design a classifier in a different format, another person will design in a different format. We cannot say that there is no universal rule for designing. Okay. So depending upon the problem, we are selecting the predefined techniques which are available. Okay. So the data analyzation part is very important. For all of you, if you are working in any area like artificial intelligence, data mining, web mining, and all the things, the thing is that understanding of the data is very important. You select a technique that we will apply this one, we will categorize the data, will classify the data. But if you are not analyze the data properly, so data analysis is a very important part. If you analyze the data properly, then only you can select which is the best technique that could be applied. The similar case is here. There are many possible classifiers that can be used, but we have to choose that gives me an optimal results. And how we'll decide the optimal result? Based upon the validation of the data or the error terms. So whenever you are designing a classifier, we are facing lots of difficulties. And these difficulties is lots of variability in the pattern of the single class. variability in the feature space value, and the feature vector pattern in the different classes can be noisy, and noise in the measurement. So I'll tell you what are these points one by one. First one is the variability in the single class. Variability of the class means that suppose we are taking the previous example where we are deciding a candidate is good or bad based upon the interview or the academic marks. But you cannot always judge a person based upon the interview and the marks. Suppose in a year he is not able to perform good, but in the last 10 years your academic records are fine, but the 11th year the academic record is not good. So you have to always see a kind of variability in a single class. Okay, for a single person record, there is kind of variability. And if the variability is present, then obviously these points are represented on the hyperplanes. If you are representing into the hyperplanes, there is variability in the feature space also. Okay, so all the 10 points of that particular will lie in a one zone, and one point where he will not get a good academic marks will lie at some other zone. Okay, so there could be any reasons because we are working with real-time applications. So there is a noise in the data. You have to tackle with these noise. Either you remove these instances before classifying, or if you are taking those instances which are extraordinary, or sometimes we can say the noise, then you have to take care of this. So for that purpose, first of all, you have to decide the training set, and training set is just xi, yi, where I is equals to 1 to L. It shows that there are so many possible x. This is your feature vector, or capital Xi is a combination of so many features because it's a feature vector. That's why we have denoted it with the capital X, and it will result into yi. Okay, this is a class label. Okay, so an I value is 1 to L. So we are taking a data from 1 to L. So there are, suppose there are 10 instances, 10 rows are there, where X is a combination of small x's, which combines together in a classifier and will result into the class label, and that is your yi. Okay. So generation of the training set is take the representative patterns of the known category, that is data collection, and obtain the feature vector choice of feature measurement. That I told you, na, a small x's can be a small column. If you look at the table, visualize the matrix, then you can see there are so many columns actually. So small x's can be combined together to form a capital X, and that capital X will result into yi, that is the output level. And who will classify this? With the help of a classifier. Now thing is that you have to choose a H. This is your model choice or the function choice. So that model choice or the function, this is the same example, that model choice or function choice is based upon the experience or history of the past candidates. So suppose this is a data where you can say these are very separable to each other. These are small dots, this is dark dots, and this is a linear classifier. If you use it, that can be easily separable from one part to another part. But most of the application is not like that. So suppose look at this application where you have to find out the person is of middle build. Then the features is height and weight. So middle build person will lie here, somewhat here. The dark dots will show high build person, and lower dots will show your low build function, and the medium sized dot will show the middle build function. So you can see these all dots are in the middle of these values. Okay, those who are having the appropriate weight and appropriate height is called middle build function. So you can not separate it by using the linear line, because if you separate it by using a linear line classifier, then what happened? Half of the data will lie here and half of the data will lie there. So it will not appropriate for this application. For that, you will need a non-linear classifier. Okay. So we need to design a non-linear classifier for that. So designing a classifier depends upon your problem. So for that purpose, we need, we can say learning from example. This is called learning from example, or it is also called learning from the teacher. Okay. So what happened in these type of problem, a teacher is providing the feedback. So these are basically supervised kind of learning where teacher is providing the feedback based upon the answer. Okay. Then we'll go to the problem again and we'll do the learning again. So this is called learning from example, or it is also called learning with a teacher, where you need a feedback and that feedback is provided by the teacher. External feedbacks are available. So in the context of this, we have the feature vector, middle we have the classifier that result into the classes, then we have an external teacher which gives the feedback. And this can be divided into same learning process. The one is supervised learning. The teacher gives the true class label for each feature vectors. Then reinforcement learning, the noisy assessment of the performance, for example, correct or incorrect. And then in unsupervised learning, where is no teacher input is available. Basically, teacher feedback means that you have the relevant output levels in the training data. Based upon that output level, you are training your classifier. This is called the learning with examples or learning with teachers. Then one more is function learning. Function learning is same as your pattern recognition application. In the function learning, what we have the output as a continuous value rather than discrete as in the classifiers. Okay. So if you have the output label that are close to each other, closely related problems, where the output label is not the discrete ones. Matlab you don't have the this class or this class, where you have the continuous output. Then the process is known as your function learning. Okay, and it's very similar. The same thing is that capital XIYI will map with the help of a function. So examples are your regression and the classification are the examples of the function learning. The first one of the example is the time series prediction. So in the time series prediction, what happened? We are predicting the time of upcoming future, which is based upon the previous time intervals. Okay, and that time interval are equal time intervals. Like if you're recording the particular amount of information at R1, then the next information will be recorded at R2, R3. It is, the example are stock price, prediction, exchange rate, weather forecast. All these types of application areas are lies in the time series prediction, where the upcoming future time dependent data will closely linked with previous data. Okay. So what we are predicting? We are predicting xn, which is based upon x1, x2 up to xn minus 1. Okay. So last data तक जो भी values available होंगी वो consider करके we are predicting the next value. And learning from example is always related to your curve fitting. Curve fitting, where actually here the classification and regression will y is denoted by fx. Fx is basically that curve, or you can say a model. Okay, so fx is the model, that is a polynomial. Okay, and that polynomial model will help you to fit the curve between the input and output level. Okay. So one more thing is the generalization one. In the generalization one is, suppose if you design a classifier for a particular application or the particular domain problem, then you can generalize for all the remaining data. Suppose you choose the random training samples and you design a classifier. then that should be appropriately good for other training samples also. And if you categorize the test data by using that, it should give you an optimal results. This is the process of generalization. And at 3 p.m., I will talk about classification and regression. If you have any query in this lecture, because the time is going on and the lecture is going to end, if you have any query related to this session, you can ask me at 3 p.m. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that's all with the lecture. And someone please share the screen.